Hello everyone. Good day.
Good day.
My name is Al Hassan.
My name is Al Hassan Fadlillah,
And today I'll be taking you
and
through
today I'll
this
be
webinar
taking you
session.
through this webinar session.
First of all,
First of
I would
all,
like you guys to
I would like
actually
you guys to
comment
actually
the flag
comment
of the
the
country.
flag of the country.
Just comment something
Just
small.
comment something small.
Just comment your flag,
Just comment your
your
flag,
country,
your
and
country,
maybe
and
something small
maybe
you'd like to pick
something
up from this
you'd like to
webinar.
pick
Yeah,
up from this
it's
webinar.
interesting for us to
It's
actually get
interesting for
gingered
us to
up and
actually
get
get
to know.
gingered up and get to know ourselves.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, let me start. Okay.
Sure. Okay, so without
Okay,
wasting
so
much
without
time,
wasting much
we'd like to
time,
continue
we'd
with the
like to
data advantage.
continue
Yeah.
with data advantage. Yeah.
The data advantage is
The
just a
data
small
advantage is
session here
just a small session
for
here
data professionals
for
to
data
actually know how the
professionals to
right way
actually
to
know
break
how
into
the right
data.
way to break into data.
Why are we hosting a data
Why are we
advantage?
hosting a data advantage?
The reason.
The reason.
A lot of times
A
you
lot
go
of
online
times
and
you
find
go
people who
online and
actually says, oh, I
says,
learned data
oh, I
analytics,
learned
I
data
learned
analysis,
Python,
I learned
I learned
Python,
SQL,
I learned
I learned
SQL,
Excel,
I learned
but I've
Excel.
applied for
I've
several
applied
jobs
for
and I'm not
several
getting any.
jobs and I'm not getting
You'd
any.
also find
You'd
learners
also
who are
find
now about to
learners
start
who are now about to
saying,
start
oh,
saying,
I've
oh,
tried learning data
I've tried
analysis, but
learning data analysis,
it's
but
just here and there.
it's
I
just
don't
here
get
and there.
anything.
I don't
I've
get
even given
anything.
up.
I haven't
That
given
should
up.
not be the case.
That should
And
not
this
be
is
the
why we are
case.
hosting
And
this
this is why
session.
we are hosting this session.
So let's start.
So let's start.
So
So
a lot of what you've been
a
told,
lot of us
learn
have been told,
Python, learn
learn
SQL,
Python,
do
learn
some
SQL,
projects and build
do
a
some
portfolio.
projects and build a
People will
portfolio.
follow that
People
advice
follow
and
that
still get
advice
zero
and still get
callbacks.
zero.
Personally, I say that
Personally, I
advice
see
isn't
that
wrong.
advice isn't wrong.
It's just incomplete.
It's just incomplete.
What's actually missing from
What's
that
actually
advice?
missing from
I
that
call it
advice? I
direction,
call it
strategy,
direction,
and
strategy,
positioning.
position.
Because actually
Because
knowing
actually knowing.
so what's actually missing?
So what's actually
I
missing?
call it
I
direction,
call it
strategy,
direction,
and
strategy,
positioning.
and positioning.
Actually knowing the path
Actually
which
knowing
fits
the
you
path which fits you
into becoming a data
into
professional
becoming a data
is what I call
professional
direction.
is what I call
Knowing
direction.
the route
Knowing
companies
the
will
route
hire
which
you for
companies will
is
hire
what I
you
call
for
strategy.
is what I call
And how to
strategy.
position
And how
yourself
to
from
position yourself
going from I know Excel
going
to
from I
getting
know
hired
Excel to
is
getting
what I call
hired
positioning.
is what I call
And by the
positioning.
end of this
And
session
by
too,
the
I
end of
also
this
give
session,
you
I also
guys
give
a
you
90-day
guys
career
a
roadmap
90
where you can use to
where
actually
you
start
can
your
use to
learning.
actually start your learning.
And it will actually help you as
To
well.
actually help you as well.
So there are four data
So
career
the
paths
four data
and which
career
one
path
actually fits
and
you.
which one actually fits you.
So I would like to
So
introduce you
I would
guys
like
to
to
four people
introduce you
here.
guys to four people here.
They are all data
They are
professionals.
data
They do
professionals.
different things,
They do
but
different
they all
things,
work in the same
but they all
industry.
work in the same industry.
So let's call them
So let's call
Ada,
them Ada,
Kofi, Ama,
Kofi,
and James.
Ama, and
So the
James.
first person,
So the
Ada.
first person, Ada.
The first person is a
The
data
first person
analyst.
is the
What
data
she does
analyst.
is she
What she
pulls
does
sales
is she
data
pulls
from,
sales
let's say,
data from, let's say, databases.
Whatever you say to repeat 2 times.
Then I'm sure the device is now, yeah, maybe I've collected my phone back. I'm coming, let me turn the,
Friends, whether you open twice.
okay, I've turned the phone microphone off. So you check and see. How about that?
So you ask them if they can hear.
Okay, sure. Hello guys, I had some small technical issues. Can you hear me? Do you guys hear echo? Hello? You guys hear some echo? Oh, I think it's clear now. Okay, yeah. So let's continue. I would like to introduce you guys to 4 people here. They do different things. And they all work in the same industry. And they all call themselves data professionals. So the first person I would like to introduce you guys to is Ada. She's a data analyst, and what she does is she pulls sales data from the dashboard. She pulls sales data from the dashboard, she cleans it, she transforms it, then she builds dashboards with it. Then she presents those insights to leadership for them to act on it. So what Ada does here is she turns raw numbers into business decisions. And she's the person who will say that, oh, there was a 12% drop in sales in City A last week. And this is because of reason A and reason B. And that's her role as a data analyst. So the second person here is Kofi. Kofi is someone who predicts outcomes using models and statistics. Does that sound ambiguous? Let me make it simple. Let's say Kofi works at a telecom company. Kofi is the person who would actually say that, oh, this person has a high likelihood of cancelling out this subscription. So let's counter and make an offer. So this person here, what he does is that he uses old data, that's past data, to actually predict likely future events. And that's his role as a data scientist. So what he does is based on models, statistics, and probabilities. And his work is much more technical than person A. And that's his role as a data scientist. So person C here, you see here, is a data engineer. What she does is she builds data infrastructure that actually delivers clean data. So let's make the role of person C clear. So imagine a data to be actually water. Imagine the database to actually be a polytank, let's say here. And imagine to actually get the water from the polytank, what do you need? You actually need something like a pipe to actually connect to that water, so that you can actually connect to that polytank, so that you can actually extract that water here. So person C here, work is more about building pipelines that connect to data infrastructure, so that you can deliver, that person can deliver clean data to the data analyst and data scientist. Person C here is somebody who doesn't mostly do presentations much, but what she does is she builds infrastructure. Now let's go to the last person on the list. The last person you see here is an AI engineer, and what he does is he builds intelligent systems. He builds systems such as chatbots, recommendation engines, and large language models. I want to give you guys an example. Think of that recommendation system on the social media app you use, where the moment you linger an extra seconds on a particular video, all your feed becomes a similar video of that video you actually watched a bit. And that's what the person does. He uses algorithms to actually build intelligent systems so that people can use. And that's what he does as an AI engineer. So that person's D here is someone we call James, an AI engineer. So I would like to give you guys an honest comparison into all these 4 data professionals. And I'll also give you guys the entry barrier, the tools, the demands, and earnings of all these data professionals. To begin with, I would like to start with the data analyst. The data analyst has the lowest barrier of entry. The data scientist, a medium barrier of entry. The data engineer, a high barrier of entry. And the AI engineer has the highest barrier of entry. This is because of the technicalities involved in each role. Let's go to the core tools involved. The core tools involved in person A's work is Excel, SQL, Power BI. As a data analyst, he does more presentations, so there is a need for him to actually get tools that are actually manager friendly and presentation friendly. That's why you could actually see Excel and Power BI on this list. So let's go to the data scientist. The core tools involved in the data scientist work is Python, R, and statistics, as we mentioned earlier. What about the data engineer? Data engineer mostly does Python, SQL, and Spark, because more of their work is more like software based and back end based. They deal with these back end tools, Python, SQL, and Spark here. And the AI engineer, most of the core tools involved in their work is the large language models. They deal with the large language models, APIs, and machine learning frameworks. So now let's come to the demand for every data professional. Not all the professionals have an equal demand. Now, let me tell you guys through the demand curve. For a data analyst, that role is has the highest immediate demand in the African job market right now. For a data scientist, it has a growing demand though, but not as high as the data analyst. For the data engineer, there is fewer local demands though, but there is a strong remote demand for the data engineer role. This is because of more mature data engineering natures are abroad compared to locally in Africa. What about the AI engineer? The AI engineer is the fastest growing globally though, but it's still a new professional. It's still a new profession here. So if you are starting today, I mostly recommend you to actually go for the data analysis. Be a data analyst. A data analyst is something like simple and it's actually beginner friendly for any person who is trying to break into the data profession. But if you have some analytical experience and you're trying to actually proceed more in your career, then try being a data scientist. If let's say you are somebody who likes building infrastructure, I would recommend try being a data engineer. And for an AI engineer, I would say that's an extraordinary destination though, but that's not a good starting point. And it's mostly reserved for those with about 10 years experience in the data profession. Let me take you guys through why. Let's say you want to become a surgeon, right? What do you first do? You have to study anatomy, physiology. You have to actually understand how the body systems work. Then you specialize. Exactly. That's how data is also. Data is the same, and analysis is the anatomy. Before you become an AI engineer, for instance, you have to actually study analysis. Because if you can't deliver clean data, if you can't differentiate between clean data and raw data, then you don't have any say in being an AI engineer. If you also cannot build mini models as a data scientist, then you don't have any say as an AI engineer. If you cannot build data, if you cannot actually work around data infrastructure, work around systems, work around pipelines as a data engineer, then you have no say as an AI engineer. And this is the case. And that's the truth about career progression. So me personally, I would say from my observation, every data scientist I've spent time with, every data scientist I've met, I've actually spent time as being a data analyst before, even if informally. Because that's what the data demands, and that's what the profession demands. You actually need to actually understand certain systems first, certain concepts first, before you actually see yourself as a boss who can actually tackle bigger problems. And that goes for almost all professions. So for the data professional, so if you are starting today, start with data analysis. Imagine analysis as the anatomy, and imagine being an AI engineer, for instance, as the specialization. That foundation, like I say, is non-negotiable. So if you want to do AI, if you want to become an AI engineer, that role is like everybody fancy being an AI engineer. Wow, AI is the new thing ongoing. I want to become an AI engineer. Yeah, we know that you want to become an AI engineer, but like I said earlier, if you can't differentiate between clean data and raw data as an analyst, if you can't build mini models as a data scientist, if you cannot build infrastructure and pipelines and you cannot work around data infrastructure as a data engineer, then you don't have any role or any say as an AI engineer. Exactly. And I hope that is clear for all of us. Thank you. So now let's go to the strategy, the roles which companies hire for. Most of the times, what I tell my students is that for anything you want to learn, actually don't learn in a vacuum. Know what the environment demands. So let's say if you want to actually become a data professional, before you actually pick a tool that you want to learn, actually ask the market, is this tool in demand? And especially as you know in the tech world, the tech world evolves very rapidly. So as a data professional or as an upcoming data professional, it's very much there's much importance that you actually know that the tools that actually matter, so that you don't actually spend time studying the wrong tools. And and I believe that, and I'm telling you, that will actually save you a lot of time. Focus on the right tools and learn the right way, using the right strategy. Right. Okay, so I would like to pause and actually answer some of your questions before we proceed to the next half of our presentation. That will actually save you a lot of. Okay, sure. I actually understood all your concerns. Now, actually, yeah, I'll be with you. Sure. So let's continue. I'll come to your comments later after the representation. Yeah. So the four tools that I actually recommend. These four tools are the reason why these four tools matter is that as a data professional, if you don't know any of these tools, you actually get lost in any data conversations around. It's better for you to actually have at least a fair knowledge of these tools as a data professional. And these tools are one, your data home, Excel or Google Sheets. Excel or Google Sheets is like it's like a legendary tool. It has been there for long, but it never goes out. It always stays in the game. And this is where 80% of business decisions gets made. Every company that I know mostly uses Excel or Google Sheets. The thing about Excel and Google Sheets is that they are all beginner friendly and you can actually start learning on. You can actually start without even ever having touched one before. So what you mostly find is that Excel is actually present in almost 80% of all companies. Actually, Excel is actually used in almost 80% of all organizations, and Google Sheet is actually used in very few companies. Google Sheet actually is mostly used in startups. Google Sheet is mostly used in startups. Yeah, and in my organization, for instance, we use Google Sheet. So as a data professional, you actually need to actually get yourself familiar with any of these two tools, either Excel or Google Sheet. Just pick one and actually go through. So the second tool I also recommend is SQL. SQL, as we said earlier, is like the pipe. With SQL, you're able to extract data from the database. So SQL is very, very important as a data professional. Even if you don't master it, at least have a fair idea of it so that you actually don't get lost in any data conversation. And it's very, very important too. So the third tool I mostly recommend is a visualization tool like Power BI or Tableau or Looker. You see, as an analyst, most of your job demands, as a data professional, most of your job demands that you actually communicate insights, like the findings to stakeholders. This is where the visualization tool is very, very important, because because the human being actually understands visual communication much more faster than text. So you must actually getting yourself familiarized with at least one of these visualization tools is very, very important. Personally, I recommend Power BI if you are starting as a data professional, because Power BI is in the Microsoft ecosystem and it's very, very useful. So the fourth one is a scripting language. Yeah, as a data professional, you actually need to actually get yourself familiar with any of the scripting language. Currently, there are two popular ones, that's Python and R. With the scripting language, you're able to actually automate tasks, handle big data, and even cross into the data science territory. So the scripting language is very, very important. One advice that I always give is that with the scripting language, actually learn what is more closer to you and learn the tool that will actually bring you more money faster. So let's continue with the tools. You actually don't need to actually master all the 4 tools to get hired though. You actually need to actually deepen competence in maybe 1 or 2 pillars and in their tools. This is because deep competence in 1 or 2 pillar tools actually beats shallow competence in 5. And let me give you guys a real story. Let's say a data analyst at a fintech company. They will get hired for being exceptional at Power BI or SQL, even if they are average or at SQL or Python. This is because any hiring manager will think that, oh, I can teach somebody Python, or I can even give somebody a Python tutorial to actually learn. But I can't teach someone to actually think analytically and build a dashboard that maybe my CEO actually use. So in the data profession, what's recommended is that deepen your competence in 1 or 2 pillar tools, like the 4 tools I showed earlier. You'd actually need to actually master in just 2. You don't need to actually bother yourself with all maybe 4 or 5. Just master 2 and have some knowledge in the rest, as those knowledge will build up over time. And that's what's recommended for all of you guys here. I'll come and read your comment sections and I'll actually answer most of your questions. I just want to actually finish this presentation. That's finished so that you can actually get to a check mark, and I'll come and read your comment sections. So don't worry, you stay with me. Now, this one of the most important things, if not the one of the very important things, if not the most important, and it's something like that I call positioning. Positioning means going from I know Excel to getting high. This is a tricky place, and this is where most people fail. So be with me and let's go straight and let's delve into this and know why this matters. So positioning. One advice I give as a coach: stop being a generic analyst. Pick your industry. Anytime people approach me that they want to learn data analysis, they always say that, oh, okay, I want to be a data analyst. I don't want to be a data analyst. But the first thing that I mostly ask my students who come to me is that, where would you like to see yourself as a data analyst? Would you like to see yourself in the market, in the bank, in the hospital, in a biotech company? These are all places that you should pick out. You can't just say that I want to be a data analyst and stand out from the crowd. Never. You actually need to actually pick your industry. You move along with me. So the generic analyst. So most of the times, the analysts that you see that saying that, oh, I learned data analysis like 6 months ago, but I've not been able to land a single job. It's because they did a generic analyst workflow. They did generic learning, they built generic products, and they built generic applications. And they are competing with hundreds of other people who also did the same generic things. These are amounts cricket. Now let me show you the example of the niche analyst. Let's say you're a beginner trying to break into the data profession. Don't start. First of all, the thing you have to say is be real with yourself. Would I fancy working in a bank? Will I fancy working in a hospital? Will I fancy working in a government organization? Or will I fancy just working in some agricultural farm? That's something that you need to be real with yourself as a data professional. So the example of the niche analyst. Let's say I choose, I would like to maybe be a financial analyst. Maybe I fancy working in the bank, so I want to be an analyst that the bank needs. What I'll do will be different from every other person, and this is what I'll be doing. I'll be learning the same data, all right, as everybody. But here's what I'll do: I would focus specifically on the tools that my working place will demand most, and that's SQL and Power BI. Because as a financial analyst, the CEO wants to see the dashboard, the CEO wants to see the churn rate, the CEO wants to see the KPIs. So mastering Power BI and SQL is very very much important. And as a financial analyst, your data lies in the bank somewhere. The database of the customer who comes to the bank every day lies somewhere. So you actually need to actually master SQL to be able to extract those data from those databases hidden. So and that's what you need to actually master. So as a person who has actually picked up my niche as, maybe I want to work in maybe fintech, I would master SQL and Power BI, and my data projects would actually be about loan portfolios, transaction volumes, and credit scoring portfolios. I wouldn't worry myself with sales dashboards. Nah, that's very useless. I would actually learn the things that my working environment will actually demand. So because of this, anytime maybe a financial company posts a role, they see somebody who speaks their language, and this is where you actually stand out as the niche analyst. So if you are listening to me today, I'm trying to tell you that if you are trying to learn data analysis and you only have in your head that, oh, I want to be a data analyst, you are being wrong. You are trying to become a generic analyst, and the end of the generic analyst is actually 100 applications, no response. Pick a niche like fintech, health tech, agriculture, logistics. And in any of those niches, pick the one you actually love working there. Then when you actually pick the niche that you love, then you actually focus on the tools that your niche would demand and actually build projects tailored to that niche. So the moment a role posts up, the moment a role pulls up in that niche, you'll be the first person, and you'll be the one that the role needs the most. As an advice to you, and I went through job postings to actually compile a list of the most powerful niches in West Africa here. So what I found out was that in Africa and West Africa, the niches that are most prevalent is fintech, health tech, agriculture, logistics, and government and development. So let's say if you are listening to me, you are watching me right now, and you want to be a data analyst or a data professional, I recommend, and you are based in West Africa, or you are based in the Africa, I would recommend actually pick any of these 5 niches, either fintech, health tech, agriculture, logistics, government and development. Delve into one of these 5 niches and actually build yourself properly. And when you do that, I'm telling you, you'll actually stand out and you'll actually love yourself and you actually love the outcome. Yeah. So this is the first framework about positioning. The second framework about positioning is also very, very much important. And it's something that I'll take you guys through. This framework comes from a popular principle by Dan Koe. Yeah. So Dan Koe has a principle about the modern day career person building a job around yourself. We wouldn't go much into that principle though, but I'll give you the excerpts about that principle and why you should, as a data professional, you'd actually need to actually utilize the Dan Koe principle to actually be the best data professional you can ever be, and be the best version of data profession. You can be the best version of it and be the best version of yourself. So the Dan Koe principle. The Dan Koe principle, one key essence from the Dan Koe principle is that the best time to actually build your audience is while you are still learning. This might fancy like, oh, I'm learning, I don't know anything. You actually know something. So you might think that you are learning, you don't know anything. But Dan Koe says that the best time to actually build your audience is while you are still learning. Why am I saying that? Because while you are still learning, you are available to 2 groups at the same time. The one who knows less than you and the one who knows more than you. Why? Because the one who knows less than you sees you as a person who is ahead of them. So what you're actually learning is something that the one who knows less than you can actually benefit from. So they tap into it. What about the one who knows more than you? The one who knows more than you also fancies what you are learning. Exactly. The one who knows more than you, they fancy what you are learning because some time ago they learned the same thing, but they used a different approach. So they want to actually know that, oh, okay, I used approach A the last time. What is this new person? Which approach is this new person using? And that's what the Dan Koe principle states. The best time to actually build your audience is while you're still learning. It's while you are still learning, because you become valuable to 2 groups at the same time. So what I would recommend: share what you learn. Be visible. If you have become a data professional, have active LinkedIn and Twitter profiles, and I'm telling you, it helps a lot. Why does this work? The Dan Koe principle. I'm coming to actually break it down for you guys. Why does this work? Because it actually proves that, one, you are learning. If everybody can actually go through your social media page and actually see posts of you posting about SQL, Python, how you are solving problems, they'll actually show that, okay, this is that this person has really learned. And that proof actually builds trust. Exactly. So the point 2, it also proves that you can actually communicate technically to a non-technical audience. Why am I saying that? When you log into LinkedIn right now and you make a post about, maybe, let's say, oh, I did something with SQL. Most of the people in LinkedIn have never touched SQL before. But as a data professional, you've been able to explain SQL to a non-technical audience on LinkedIn so much that they've been able to actually understand, relate with you through your post, and they've liked your post. And this actually here, right here, tells the recruiter that this person is the right person, and this person is the right person for the job. So it proves that you can actually communicate technically to a non-technical audience here. So, and it's also the third thing that the Dan Koe principle actually helps it up. The third point is that it also builds a documented record that any hiring manager can actually scroll through. So let's say you're a data analyst, you've actually documented yourself every day. Oh, I solved this problem. I dealt with this. I did this. I did that. I did this. I did that. Anytime a hiring manager chances upon your profile, they can actually see the documented record of everything you've learned, every problem you solved, every challenge you've overcome. And because of that, it builds trust into the hiring manager that, oh, okay, yeah, this person is actually the right person from the job. So then I'll come and different. Let me give you guys an example of some of the things you should actually be saying when learning and actually navigating the data profession. You don't post it that, oh, I learned SQL today. Nah. It doesn't work that way. What you post that, a strong post look like something like this. I was cleaning a data set today, and in the cleaning process, I found out that 30% of the customer records had duplicate entries. So here's the SQL query I used, and here's what it taught me about data quality. And this is what a strong post look like. Because any non-technical audience, even though they don't understand SQL query, they understand that, okay, you clean the data sets. You found that some of them were duplicates. And actually utilize something to actually get to the outcome you were trying to reach. And here's what it taught you about data quality. And this right here is why the Dan Koe principle is very, very important. So if you are following with me here, I would like to tell you that pick up your notes and write these two things down. One, your learning is your marketing. Very, very important. And two, you need to stop being a generic analyst, pick your niche, and actually focus much more on what you want to become here. So, after taking you guys through this, I would like to actually also motivate you on being a data professional. Being a data professional is not easy. There are some times that you feel like giving up, but that's normal. Let me tell you a story once here. So my audience, let me tell you a story once here. When I was learning data analysis here, I'll tell you guys the story after the webinar. Don't worry. So let's go to the career roadmap. So the 90-day career roadmap. So this 90-day career roadmapping is something that I actually crafted for you guys, and it's something by courtesy of Kumasi Hive. We actually giving it to you for free. You realize that most data professionals, they do things wrongly. So if you made a simple 90-day career roadmap, this is just a brief. This right here is just a brief. I will actually send to you and actually give you guys the full career roadmap in the WhatsApp pages and the LinkedIn pages. I'll share the full career roadmaps to you as a document here. So here's what a 90-day career roadmap looks like, and here's something that I want to show you guys. So a 90-day career roadmap looks like this: month 1, month 2, month 3. In month 1, you map your direction. Month 2, you learn, build, and document. And in month 3, you build your digital products. So let's go back to month 1. Month 1 is where you are trying to make a plan first. Most people skip month 1. They'll be like, oh, okay, let me just skip month 1. It's not really much important. But if you skip month 1 now, you realize that maybe after some 3 months later or after some 6 months later, you've learned a lot of things, but none of them connect. None of them connect because you actually skip the most important phase. One of the most important phase, and that's month 1. Month 1 here, you actually map your direction. This is what I've made 5 simple bullet points to actually show you guys what to do. So in month 1, define your niche industry. As we talked earlier, your niche is where you actually stand out and where you actually like to see yourself as a data professional. So it's very, very much important for you to actually pick your niche. Then you choose your career path. I took you guys through all the 4 data career paths. So at this point, you should actually know the best one which actually fits you. So after choosing your career path, steady roll job postings. Yeah, go through some old job postings in the field you want to become. Let's say you want to become a data analyst or a data scientist in maybe fintech. Go through old job postings. Study those job postings and identify the things every job posting demanded. If you're able to do that, I'm telling you, if you're able to do that, then you identify some pillar tools and some pillar points from these job postings, and I'm telling you, you become an exceptional data professional. Yeah, I'm telling you, you become an exceptional data professional. And take notes. So month one is very, very important, and month one is where you actually map your direction. What? Let's go to right after month one. Here comes month two. The second month is where you learn, build, and document. Very, very important. In the second month, it is assumed that okay, you already have maybe a course you are learning, you already have a track you are following, maybe on Datacamp. But that's not all. In month two, set a goal, set a target, set a KPI that every 2 weeks I'll build something like a mini project or even a mini task. After building the project, I'll make a LinkedIn post or I'll just write a simple blog about it. Just do that. Keep on doing that. Never give up. Keep on doing that in month two. After some time comes month three. And month three is here. There's 60 days of learning. You actually try to get into something useful. Let me tell you something that almost data professional space. When you actually try becoming a data professional and after learning so much, building your first project like independently is one of the most difficult things that you can actually do as a data analyst. But I'm telling you, it's also one of the most interesting phases where your learning is challenged because the things you've learned, the code you've learned, the analytical things you've mastered, it's actually where you convert into something useful that a person will pay you for. So month three is also very, very important. But like I said, all of them are very, very important. So month three, I call it build one small real useful thing. Build one small real useful thing. Example, let me give an example of a thing you can do. Let's say you learn data analysis, right? Pick a problem. Then build a simple solution, a raw one that somebody will pay you for. So let me give you an example of a simple raw solution. Let me start with Kumasi Hive. You see over here at Kumasi Hive, a lot of startups come for coaching as we do this in incubator programs. So one thing that you'll find is that most startups, they win funding. After winning the funding and the grants, they will actually like to know, okay, how long will this grant last me? How long will this grant take me? How can I utilize and structure my expenses very well so that I can actually make the most out of this grant? So that's a real problem here. Everybody might actually walk past, but as a data professional, this is your hot cake, this is your gold mine. So as a data professional, this is what you do. After knowing this problem that startups face, what you have to do is actually something small. Build a cash flow dashboard and add a cash flow dashboard that can actually take their expenses, their income, and actually project it to them that okay, this is how long your income can take you. This is how long your income can last. And this is how you can structure your income well. And to even top it off, you can even add AI recommendations to that dashboard. If it sounds like ambiguous, let me break it down to you. It's very, 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 very simple. Actually, it's very, very simple. So building a dashboard requires just Power BI here. Financial modeling, plus minus, is some Excel level arithmetic and something that's mostly done in the primary schools. And the AI recommendation is just something like a simple large language model API connection. You can just connect to the API and there. So like let's say ChatGPT API, you can just connect with it. And a single prompt will actually give you a summary recommendation. So this is what I call building a digital product. The best thing about building a digital product is that you can actually sell it. Right now there's seller.school where you can actually sell digital products. And personally, I know a friend, the same batch as me, completed the same school the same year. He learned data analysis, and what he built was a personal budget finance dashboard. And I'm telling you, if I'm to tell you the amount of money this guy made from selling this dashboard, you'd actually marvel. He sold the dashboard for just $2, and I'm telling you, in one day he had made over $300. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. As a data professional, build a digital product. It's very, very important, and it's where you can actually convert what you've learned into a real useful thing. Yeah, and that's what I actually recommend to upcoming data professionals. try and build a digital product. So with this 90-day career roadmap is the simpler. It is the summarized version. I would actually share the long version into the WhatsApp pages and the LinkedIn pages. And that's as you have here. It's a 90-day career roadmap. So remember the three things I told you guys about: having a direction, having a strategy, and also positioning yourself very well. I'll share the slides with you actually in the LinkedIn and the WhatsApp page so that you can actually go through and also pick out some of these things from yourself. So here comes the end of our presentation, and up next is the Datacamp onboarding. But before that, I would like to actually go through the comments and actually answer some of your questions here. So if you have any question, any problem, here is the best time to actually bring that to my face. Just document your question, your problem into the comment section, and I'll actually be reading and giving you answers there. This session is just for 10 minutes, as we won't spend much time here, and we'd like to proceed to the Datacamp onboarding. After the Datacamp onboarding, after the Datacamp onboarding, I would also have a 10-minute Q&A with you guys here. So, as if you are following me right now, put your question into the comment section. I'll be very happy to actually answer that question for you. Yeah, I'll be very happy to actually answer that question for you. So this is the best time here. Okay. So the first question I'm seeing here is there any certification for this webinar? Would a certification be given to the viewers or not? Okay. I would arrange for a certification for you guys very soon. But to get the certification, you actually need to actually pick up something from this webinar, right? Because this is more of like a helpful project we are doing here. So it's very what matters more to us is actually picking up the things that we learn. Yeah. So what matters more is actually knowing the right things and actually moving along with these things. But for the certification, it's news about the certification will actually come out very soon, and I'll actually give you guys a reward for your effort. Understand that this is actually took time to actually join this webinar, and it will also reward you kindly with the certification here. So don't worry, there'll be a certification. Okay, so the next question I would like to answer is this question from Emmanuel. Emmanuel says that is learning Excel and Power BI enough to work as a data analyst while slowly catching up with Python? I would say, Emmanuel, excellent. As a data analyst, most of your work involves the most important, as a data analyst, the most important phase in your work is actually communicating insight to stakeholders. And as I would say, Excel and Power BI perfectly fits are the perfect tools actually for this task. So as data analyst, you don't need to actually bother yourself with Python, even though some roles might demand it, but not all the roles. And learning Excel and Power BI is very, very important. It's something that you can move with as a data analyst. But what I recommend is that learning Excel and Power BI alone is not enough. Actually, try learning some bits of SQL and actually get yourself familiarized with Python or maybe a bit of R. But I would say mastering Excel and Power BI is very key, and that's what I recommend. If those are your strengths, then focus on Excel and Power BI, as they are very, very important as well. Yeah. So, Emmanuel, you can focus on Excel and Power BI, but at least have a fair knowledge of SQL and Python, just a fair knowledge, and by you can actually try and master Power BI in Excel. Yeah. So, present. So the next question is from Gift. Said, if I had applied for an AI engineer, would I be allowed to switch to data analysis? There is no problem. That's why we hosted this webinar, to actually give you guys a break-to-break guide. Being a data analyst, to actually give you guys a guide to actually follow. Data analysis is very, very good if you're actually starting out. And it's very, very, and that's what is recommended. So it's very so you'd be allowed to actually switch from being a data analyst to actually becoming from you would be allowed to actually switch from from AI engineering to actually data analyst here, and we'll actually support you in that journey. Okay. So the next question is from Adebayo Rahel. He said he just joined, and my question is, I am learning machine learning. Yeah. But I have started taking data science course. Is data analysis necessary? I would say Adebayo Rahel, I would say yes, data analysis is very, very necessary. Let me give you guys a simple machine learning workflow logic. Well, let's say you're a machine learning engineer and you've been asked to, let's say, build maybe a model to actually predict maybe, let's say you work in a manufacturing company and you've been asked to actually build a model to actually build a model that actually take parameters about machines and actually so that you can actually predict which machine might become faulty faster. You do need some bits of data analysis here because first of all, you need to get your data, process those data, clean this data, and transform this data. These are very, very key. And these are the basis of data analysis. Yeah. So as a machine learning engineer, you still cannot speak data analysis. Data analysis is very, very important. Because with data analysis, you can actually learn how to actually clean this data and transform this data. Again, as a machine learning engineer, you won't just clean and transform data, but you have to actually also visualize this data before you actually plot them. Let me tell you one thing in the machine learning engineering. Let's say you want to build models, and sometimes you do not just input parameters into this model. So what you do is you'd actually check these models. You'd actually even check, oh, is this feature normal? Is this feature normally distributed? And these are all things that are these are all functional things in data analysis. So so even as a machine learning engineer, you need to know a bit of data analysis so that you can actually get through. So learning data analysis, like I said, is very, very key and basic. If you want to become a data analyst and a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, data analysis is necessary. You cannot become a data scientist without data analysis. The same way you cannot become a machine learning engineer without data analysis. So data analysis, like I said, is very, very important. Even if you won't spend much time as a data analyst, try and learn data analysis as a machine learning engineer, and I'm telling you, it will help you very, very much. So I'd like to proceed with the onboarding session, right? And we'll come back to these questions later. I'm very, very happy to actually answer your questions. And I'm geared up to actually answer your questions. So most of you guys joined us here because of Datacamp, and most of you guys got to know us because of our Datacamp scholarship. That's just where it's like. Yeah. So the Datacamp scholarships, like I said, first of all, let me explain Datacamp to you. Datacamp is the best platform, or even one of the, if not even one of the best, is the best platform to actually use to become a data professional currently globally, and it's the platform that every data professional uses. Me personally, when I was starting my learning journey as a data analyst, I used Datacamp. When I was starting my learning journey, I used Datacamp because learning Python was so difficult for me. The functions, so I had to. So I remember I joined Datacamp. Yeah, I joined Datacamp, and through Datacamp, I was able to actually pick up some things. The Datacamp courses are very, very interactive, and they are also broken down into bite-sized lessons, and very, very important. So yeah, so that's what I recommend. So Datacamp, like I said earlier, is the best way. It's one of the best platforms you can actually use as a data professional. So as you can see on this side of the dashboard, you will see that on the top pages there is the Datacamp logo, there is home, there is learn, there is AI native, certification, sandbox, groups, and data lab. So mostly you might not see the groups in your Datacamp platform here because I'm an admin. That's why the groups appear here. But what you would find is that in your Datacamp platform you see learn, home learn, AI native, certification, and sandbox. These are very, very important, and I'll take you guys through. And I have a secret prize for you. Do you know that you can earn $500 through Datacamp? I want to repeat myself again. Do you know that you can actually earn $500 through Datacamp? You might not know, but let me take you guys through. You'll find out soon. So, like I said, the homepage is where it's like a summary of your Datacamp learning journey so far. You'll see your old courses you've taken, previous education you've taken, and even current courses you are learning. The homepage does not offer much to us though, and what we focus mostly on is the learn page. So as you can see, this is the learn page. The learning page contains two differentiated pages, as you can see here: progress, my library, leaderboard, assignments on one side, and this in this section on the other side. So as you can see the distinction here on the learning page. So the learning page contains the most for you as an upcoming data professional here. So as you can see, it contains progress, my library, leaderboard, assignments, tracks, courses, practice, assessments, tutorials, and even real world projects, put alongs, and competitions. So let me take you guys through. Mostly our focus will be on the learn as you can see here, and apply. So here is one simple thing. The learn, when you click on the learn, you will see two things: career tracks and skill tracks. These two things, they are very, very important. So let's say you want to become a data analyst. You've been motivated by what we said, by what we've learned here. So you want to become a data analyst. What you need to do is simply go to the tracks, click on those tracks, then come to career tracks. When you click on career tracks, you will see right here that, oh, career tracks, 0 to job ready. Our career tracks are handpicked by industry experts. You will learn all you need to start a new career in the data science field. And this is very, very true as well. So one thing that also makes me like, this is a side note I want to just share. This is a side information I just want to share. One thing that makes me love Datacamp so much is that you could actually have Yale level professors, Harvard level professors teaching you data. And that's an interesting thing. You won't get this anywhere, but only Datacamp. And it's one of the reasons why most of the people or data professionals also recommend Datacamp to actually beginners and learners here. So like I said, when you come to the tracks and click on career tracks, you can see all the careers here: data analyst, BI analyst, data engineer, data scientist, machine learning scientist, machine learning engineer, AI engineer, developer, and statistician. So these are all careers these are all career tracks you can take. So let's say I want to become a data analyst. What I have to do is to simply click on the data analyst as I see here. So when I click on the data analyst, I can see 4 career tracks: associate data analyst in SQL, data analyst in Python, data analyst in R, data analyst in Databricks, as you can see here. So let's say I want to become a data analyst in Python. I'll simply click on view. It appears view here because I've already completed this track here. As you can see here, 98%. But if you're about to start fresher, when you come here, you'll see enroll. So let me show you an example. So let's say data engineer. If I come to data engineer, you'll see the tracks here. As you can see, data engineer in Python. So like for example, I come to view details. What I'll see is enroll in track. And this is a summary of all the things it will take. It will take me 40 hours, 14 courses, and 3 projects for me to become a data engineer in Python. As you can see here. And these are all the things that I will need to learn to become a professional data engineer in Python. So these are the career tracks. They are very, very important. As you can see here, the career tracks. You can go to your platform anytime and check out these things. They are very, very useful. So just select the career you want to become. Then click on that track and enroll in that track. And simple as that, you are a data professional. So the skill tracks are also useful though, but are not highly recommended. If you want to, unless let's say I'm a data analyst, I understand Python, but I also want to learn maybe some bit about AI. So then I'll come to this single skill tracks so that I can actually pick up certain things. So like maybe data literacy professional, I can actually come here to actually learn a bit about data storytelling, communicating insights. Yeah. So I can simply come here and enroll in track. But as I said earlier, if you are starting out here, go to career tracks. If you are starting out here, go to the career tracks. But let's say if you are an already professional, and you simply want to fill in the gaps, let's say you've mastered Excel, you've mastered Power BI, and you simply want to learn some small thing about Python, then you can go to the skill tracks to actually pick up some 1 or 2 skills. Yeah, that's simple as that. After the tracks, you will see that there is courses. The courses also basically the same thing about as the skill tracks, except that the courses are much shorter than the skill tracks. Yeah, so you won't spend much time on the courses. You can come here and navigate, but you won't spend much time on the courses. So you go to the next thing you want to talk about is the practice. So one thing I will say is that the practice is very, very important as a data professional. If you study, learn all day, you need to actually come to the practice session so that you can actually delve into real world projects. If you don't practice the skills you've learned, I'm telling you, you might lose all of them. Just go maybe a week, just a single week without practicing those skills, and I'm telling you, you might lose all of them. So even if you are tired, you can just come to the practice and maybe just practice any of these skills. It doesn't take much time, and I can even practice right now, as you can see. If you guys can give me a prize, I can actually test myself here. I can actually go to a practice section, and I promise you guys I'll score 100 over 100. This is just for the way, by the way, though. But as a data professional, as an upcoming data professional, try and practice more. Yeah, it's very, very important. So if you guys want to try a challenge, you can actually challenge me, and I'll go to this practice section and practice right now for all of you guys to see. But that's not the case anyway. Let's go to the assessment. That's what's important. So the assessment here are also very, very important, like I said. It's similar to the practice, except that here you are taking assessments as in exams. So I can also take this assessment as you see here. The assessment differs from the practice in a way that the assessments are like more theoretical assessments, and the practice are like more practical, and that's the main difference about the two. So let's say a practice will give you like maybe a real world scenario, or maybe you are a data analyst at company X, try and do this, try and do that. But assessments, they will ask you simple plain English. How can you do this? How can you do that? And that's the difference between the two. So that's it here. So the next thing, as you can see here, is the tutorials. The tutorials are very, very important too. And I will see that if you are learning now, sometimes take some time when it comes to the tutorials, and they are very, very good too. There are sometimes blogs, and there are sometimes blogs, and it's very, very good too. You can actually view any of these tutorials. Let's say a guide with practical examples. You can actually view and actually go into those tutorials and actually pick some 1 or 2. So you just simply read and get to know sentence. It's very, very important to actually note sometimes the documentations behind the code you are doing, the platform you are using, the documentations behind it. So that's why the tutorials are very, very important here. So like I said, when you log into your platform, try and actually do one thing in all of this. Try and do at least a single thing in all of this, and I'm telling you, you're very, very happy. So let's go to the next section. As you can see here, we've covered the learn section. Let's go to the apply section. The apply section is where the real world projects are. They are very, very good too. So as a data professional, like we said earlier, if you are learning data, try and at least every 2 weeks build a real world project. If you are using Datacamp, I'll say that every 1 week, because you actually have an upper advantage. You actually have a privilege to use Datacamp, and they've made everything simple for you. So actually try some of these real world projects, and I'm telling you, they are very, very good too. As you can see here, I've done most of them. Most of them, as you can see here, hypothesis testing in healthcare, I've done it. Data-driven product management, conducting market analysis, I've done it. So as you can see, it comes here replay. But those that have not yet done, you can see here it comes here that starts. Exactly. So that's the main thing. If you've done a real world project before, it will come that replay. As you can see here, analyzing crime, exploring, you see here, replay. Exploring NYC public school data sets, results course, replay. Investigating Netflix movies, replay. But those that I have not done, you can see that it comes here that as stats. Yeah. So you can actually see that I also spent some time on Datacamp here. Like I said, it's one of the best platforms to use as a data professional. So actually make wise use of the Datacamp scholarships we give, right? And make good use of them. When you use them, wow, we are very happy to actually see you guys succeed. As you make testimonies one day that okay, through this Kumasi Hive Datacamp scholarships, I was able to learn this, learn that, and now currently I'm a data professional earning 6 figures, earning 7 figures, earning 8 figures, and that's what you want to see. So if you're on this webinar, try and make it a pledge that you're actually going to persevere and try and learn these things. And I'm telling you, you will never regret. And I'm speaking from experience here. So the next thing we'll actually try to tackle is code alongs. So as you can see from the code alongs here, the code alongs, I'm sure most of you guys understand code alongs. Code along is like somebody is actually doing a work, and you're actually sitting at the back just looking at what the person is doing, and you are replicating the same thing. This is simply the code along. So as you can see, the code alongs are something that people have already done before. You are just coming to watch them play, then you also replicate the same thing. So let's say somebody has done a code along with prompt engineering with ChatGPT and LangChain. Somebody has done with maybe building multimodal AI applications. Somebody has also done a code along using open source AI models with Hugging Face. You can actually come here if you just want to maybe practice that. Like I said, actually try and do maybe at least a single thing in all of these sections here. So let's say you want to maybe try build a retrieval augmented generation with Open AI API and Python. You can simply click on this, and you see start code along. It's a full video. So as you can see, you play it and actually see.
I'm a software engineer at Datacamp.
So what he's doing, you'll be doing the same thing. That's simply the code along.
Here we will actually.
So if you have some smart, what I recommend is that try and make some time that between these days I'll blend data analysis, then come and maybe try your hands on all of these sections. And I'm telling you, it's very, very good. It will actually help you. Now here comes the final part and the most interesting part. Remember, I told you guys that you can actually earn $500 using Datacamp. Most of you never believe me, but let me show you guys something. Here's the competitions, and here's what makes Datacamp unique. Let me tell you something. So from time to time, Datacamp hosts these competitions where they would attach a price to it, like maybe $500, $200, $300. So these competitions are sometimes with prizes. Sometimes they are not. Sometimes they are priceless. By even the priceless competition, at least you can even add it to your portfolio. So you can't say they are even priceless. So all of them has prizes, but just that some of them are monetary prizes. Yeah, exactly. So the competitions is where you can actually make money from Datacamp, and here you compete against learners like you who are also navigating the data journey. So right now, Datacamp is not hosting any live competition here. If they were hosting live competition here, you would see that there will be 2 sessions here, live and past. But currently, there's no live competition. So all you can see here is past, as you can see here, past competitions. But if you scroll through the past competitions, you will see that, okay, these are some of the past competitions Datacamp has held. So like I said, a $300 gift card for the winner who won this competition. So let's find out who won this competition. So as we can see that, okay, this competition ended on 9th March 2026. That was when this competition ended. As you can see, the competition was about AI learning native experience, and this was organized by Datacamp. So let's see the one who won. Let's try and see the one who won. Let's look at the entries. As you can see, I've gone to the entries, so we can see the one who won. So as you can see, the one who won seems to be a guy from India, Kaya Dharmendra Padia. He was the one who was first, so he was the one who got a $300 here. You guys were not early, but right now I've told you guys you can make money from Datacamp. So try and learn hard, learn very well, and enter into these competitions, and it would vote for you. I'm telling you. And if you enter into this competition, just tell me that, oh, okay, Father, I've entered into these competitions. Can you actually share my project into the Datacamp leadership network so that they will actually vote for me? I'll do that, and I'm very, very happy to support you, because the voting criteria for this competition is mostly very insane. The voting criteria for some of these competitions is okay, yeah, sure. The voting criteria in most of these competitions are peer-based. So having your friends vote for you actually helps. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. So if you've learned and you actually come to this competition. So what I'll say is that, and what I'll recommend is that come to the competition section from time to time to actually find out, oh, is there any live competition going on? Then join. So as you can see here, like I said, there was a $300 gift card competition. There was even a $2,000 competition recently. There was a $500 competition recently. There was also a $500 gift card competition recently. There was a $50 competition recently. $500 competition recently. And I'm telling you, anytime you get something, when it comes to this competition, you can win. And I'm telling you, you can win. I've entered into this competition before. Do you know my position? You can, if you guys can, maybe you guys can guess my position though. I won't say it to you. I won't tell it to you guys though, but I did very well. I won't lie to you. So yeah, so that's basically the learn page. The learn page is where you would mostly be as a learner, and that's where you should also come most of the times. So next is the AI native. The AI native is like a new feature Datacamp just introduced. And so if you have some time, you can come to the AI native, but we won't spend much time here. We'll go to the certification. So as you can see here, there are certification pages where you actually get your career certifications. Anybody here who has gone to my LinkedIn profile would actually know that I have 3 certifications from Datacamp. Yeah, 3. Yeah, they were not easy to do. I have 3 certifications from Datacamp. The person who can guess it, the person who can guess those certifications gets a prize from me. But let's move on. The certification is where you have actually come to actually practice your skills. Yeah. So let's say if you've learned a lot and you actually feel that I deserve a certificate from Datacamp for being a data scientist, and I also deserve, if you want to say that, okay, I've learned a lot, I deserve a certificate from Datacamp, come to the certification page and try out any of these certifications. So you can simply go on, get started, data analyst, and register for the certification. If you register for the certification, you'll be given 1 month to complete the certification here and get your reward. If you are not able to complete the certification within 1 month, you won't get it. And one interesting thing about Datacamp is that when you do the certification, they would let a senior Datacamp review your code. So let's say maybe a Harvard level professor, a Yale level professor reviewing your code to award you a certification. And that's why most people actually recommend Datacamp, like I said. So if you learn and in your 90-day career roadmap, when you get to Montreal, I would suggest that come to the certification page and try out certifications. You don't know, you might be the next data analyst in your family. So here is Sandbox. Sandbox, most people here have not familiarized yourself with Sandbox, but Sandbox is simply an MVP platform. You don't actually do much here too, unless you are about to tackle a project. But Sandbox is also very, very good. One thing I've used Sandbox for is when I was trying to actually learn Power BI for the first time. Because at first I had not downloaded Power BI, so I came to Sandbox where I used Power BI, where I used the Datacamp built in Power BI to actually practice. So if you, let's say, you want an application, but you can't download data, you can come to Sandbox and you actually see all of those applications can actually open those. Yeah, so as you can see here, we have Power BI, Tableau, AWS, Azure, Python, Bedrock. You can come to Sandbox and actually try this out. And even if you come here, you can even get premium models for free. And that's one of the advantages of the Datacamp scholarship. So be very, very happy for yourself. You have embarked on a truly wonderful journey. Yeah. So like I said, the groups appear here because I'm an admin. So I wouldn't go there. But I'll go to the data lab. The data lab, you can see, is a product of Datacamp. And this is where most of your projects will be. As you can see from my data lab workbook, these are some of the projects I've done. Temporal and operational insight into flight disruptions. These are some of my old projects. Remember I told you guys that I was trying to learn data analysis for the first time here. So as you can see, in 2025, I used to work a lot. As you can see here, temporal. As you can see, most of my projects are dated 2025. As you can see, let me scroll. You see, 2024, that was when I first started using Datacamp. September 2024, 2025, 2026. So the data lab contains all your projects. So that's one of the advantages. Datacamp does not delete your project. They store it for you securely. So anytime you've done a project, anytime you do a project, it goes to the data lab where you can log in anytime and simply check out your project. And personally, I've even deleted some of my projects. That's why you're not seeing it there. I really did a lot of projects. I don't like to. So as you can see here, should I tell you guys through some of my projects? I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I'll go back. I'll go and read your comment section to actually answer your questions. So here comes the end of the Datacamp onboarding. If you did not understand anything, you missed anything, or you like me to actually repeat something, just put in the comment section, and I'll review in the comment section. Actually, be answering some of your questions as well. So simply just go to the comment section, type your problem, and I'll actually try and give you an answer. Thank you very much, everyone. And this is the end of our webinar session and our Datacamp onboarding session. Thank you all. Okay, so I think one of the questions I've seen here is that, please, what about us who hasn't received our scholarship email yet? It means we can't have access to the Datacamp website to start learning. What do we do then? Okay, this is something that we actually, you see, the scholarships are in such a way that we actually want everybody to actually benefit. That's why you're actually using the iterative stages to actually distribute the scholarship. We don't want to actually give it all at once, where we might mistake and we might do a mistake and actually give a scholarship to certain people who might not use it. That's why we actually doing the iterative. So those who don't activate their scholarship, we actually get those scholarships and pass it to the next people. Currently, we will still have scholarship in stock. The royalty are about to be distributed, and even tomorrow, that's Thursday, there will be some scholarships coming out here. So, Jane, I've noticed your concern, and I'll try as much as possible to actually speed up the scholarship delivery. Right, I'll do my best as possible to actually make sure that everybody gets their own scholarship and actually get to learn and benefit from Datacamp. Thank you for drawing my attention to this end, and I've taken notes. Right from here, I would actually try and make everything possible to actually get the scholarship into your hands. Thank you very much. Oh, the scholarship. I think most of your concern about the scholarship. Yeah, don't worry. You'll get the scholarships. Somebody's asking, the certificates, are they free or paid? It depends on the type of certificate. So if you are trying to see the Datacamp certificate, then by courtesy of Kumasi Hive and Datacamp, because of our scholarship, the certifications are free. Yeah, but when I was first, let me tell you guys a funny story. When I was first learning data analysis and data science, I had not yet met Kumasi Hive, and I also had not yet gotten a Datacamp scholarship. So what I did was utilize the student email to actually get this premium Datacamp. So I had to use like 3 different accounts to actually get this scholarship. Yeah, but by courtesy and by God's grace, by courtesy of Kumasi Hive, you guys will actually have this scholarship. Like I said earlier, I'll try and do my best to actually get these scholarships handed to everybody. Yeah. So just be patient a bit for me. The work is not easy, and there is a lot of people, so I'm trying my best to actually ensure that everybody benefits. I understand your concerns, and sometimes I see your DMs, and I'm trying my best, like I said, and I promise to you guys that I'll try my best to actually make sure that everybody benefits from this scholarship. Thank you. Okay, so I think I've seen a brilliant question from S. Green. He said, I am into health data management. Between R and SQL, which one should I concentrate on? So there is this question I've seen from S. Green Infotech. The person says, I am into health data management. Between R and SQL, which one should I concentrate on? Remember what we said during our webinar. R and SQL are different things altogether. R is a scripting tool, and SQL, what's SQL? SQL is like we said earlier, SQL is like a pipe. With SQL, you'll be able to extract data from databases, and with R, you're able to automate the boring tasks, like I said. So they all have different functions, and the best thing is to actually combine them. Just be hard enough and just combine R and SQL. They are very, very important in health data management, like I said. You would use R for scripting, for getting answers to your problems, for coding. That R will be very, very helpful to you to deriving your answers. Meanwhile, and SQL too will also be very, very helpful to you in trying to get data from these databases. So learn both. That's what I would suggest. Learn both. Don't leave one. learn both R and SQL. So please, after the first batch of the another question I've seen here is that after the first batch of the scholarship, what's next? The second batch, the third batch, and the fourth batch. Yeah, we'll try and distribute everything as soon as possible. So don't worry, the scholarship will get into your hands. Yeah, and even if the scholarships finish and you still demonstrate an interest learner, we'll try and demand for more scholarships to actually help you guys. So we just want to see the commitment to learn. That's what's most important. So just the commitment. The scholarships are there. Don't worry, and your hands will get them soon. Some of us are still waiting to get a scholarship too. Don't worry. The scholarship will come soon. Like I said, tomorrow, just tomorrow. You guys should look into your emails and try and see if you can get the scholarship stuff. We are trying our best to actually make sure everybody get the scholarship. And like I said earlier, the job is not easy. So you guys should actually exercise patience for us small. But it's good that you've drawn our attention to this, and we'll try and attend to you guys as soon as possible. But personally, I would like to also actually reward you guys more. If you join this webinar, simply write your email. Just write your email into the comment section, right? And you guys will actually be given precedence because you actually demonstrate them. You guys will actually be given precedence in the selection. So if you join this webinar today, I would advise that simply write your email into the comment section, right? And we'll look at it and actually try and get as much as possible to actually get your hands on this scholarship. So if you join this webinar, what I will say is that write your email into the comment section, right? And we'll take a look at it. And so that and expect tomorrow, tomorrow God willing, that you get your scholarships. Yeah. I have a question from Kofi and Akofa here. The person says that, what if my niche is a business analyst who wants to follow a non-linear career path, like working in NGOs in the business sector, logistics as a customer retention business specialist using data analysis? Okay. So Kofi and Akofa, what I would say is that since you like to follow a non-linear career path, that's your own choice, though. But from on the ground observation and from current trends, like I said, if you actually learn the data analysis, it's recommended that and it's best that you actually pick a niche. So just pick a niche and specify your niche so that you actually tailor your work and efforts. Else, if you try and become the generic analyst, learning generic tools, building generic products, thinking that you like to work everywhere, like anywhere, you might end up not landing a single job. So it's very, very important that you would actually focus on one. But since you say you want to follow a non-linear career path, like I said, still continue. Just like I said, my advice is that just pick one. So let's see, what I would suggest is that maybe let's see, you would like to work in an NGO in the business sector. Still learn the data analysis. But focus on that one for the meantime and actually build your skills to that exactly. So if you're and try so that you can actually maximize your chances, because right now the job market is saturated with data analysts, and we are looking for experts, those who actually speak the language every recruiter needs. So it's very, very important that you actually focus on maybe a single niche so that you actually maximize your chances. So what I would recommend is that even though you want to follow a non-linear career path, still actually pick one thing, a single niche that you think, I would be very happy working with this. Then actually work your skills towards that. And that will actually maximize your chance of getting hired. If you don't do that and do a different thing, you might end up in the pool of generic applicants who always get skipped over. And that's not something I recommend here. So Kofi and Akofa, still wanna pick a single thing and actually work towards it. Yeah. And that's much more better. And that's a much better way of maximizing your chances. Okay. Is learning another question from Kofi and Akofa. Is learning Excel and MySQL now okay as a start, then venture into the rest? Very, very okay. Very, very okay. You can learn Excel and SQL, then venture into the rest later. Remember what we said. Deepen competence deep competence in 2 pillars is better than shallow competence in 5. So if you can deepen your competence in Excel and maybe SQL, so that every problem that comes, you can solve them with that deep competence. I'm telling you right now that it's much better than actually shallow competence. So if you think Excel and SQL is your strength and you like to focus on Excel and SQL, I would say continue. And actually that's a fun, and I would say continue. Try and master Excel and SQL. And I'm telling you, you'll have a fantastic data journey. Okay. So another question I'm seeing here is that what is the function of a data scientist in the financial industry? Okay. A data scientist in the financial industry. Let me tell you guys something. Recently, there was a posting by a major fintech company called Wave. Can you guys guess the salary they were giving to data scientists? Can you guys just guess? I'm not sure anybody can predict, but let me just give you guys the amounts. They were willing to pay a data scientist $200,000 a month. A year. If a fintech company was actually willing to pay a data scientist $200,000 a year, what should they tell you? If you are learning, if you are passionate about data science, but you still love the financial sector, you are not lost at all. You're actually in the perfect soup. You've actually found a gold mine. Try and learn and tailor your project towards the financial sector. I'm telling you, you can actually be the data scientist who wins the $200,000 a year job role the next time. You don't know, just start. So like I said, just keep on, and you might be the next data scientist who wins the $200,000 data science role. So I found another question here. The person is saying that the person is Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is saying that I am a biological science student. What is the best recommended data science tool to start with? Okay, Emmanuel, given your background in biological science, I recommend that start with some Excel and R. Yeah, because in biological science, your domain is the biotech and the health domain, and in the health domain, the most favorable tool in the health domain is R. Like I said, R. But you can't work with R alone, though. You still need the home of data. That's the sheet. So it's best that as a biological science student wanting to become a data professional, what I recommend you to start with is that pick these two tools. If you're a biological science student and you want to actually become a data professional, pick these two tools and master them. That's Excel and R. These two tools can actually help you in your career. So focus on these two tools and actually continue. And I'm telling you, they'll help you very, very much. Okay, I've seen another concern for the Datacamp scholarship. Like I said, don't worry. If you are here and you've still not received your Datacamp scholarship, like I said, just keep in mind that the application has not closed, and we are still rewarding the scholarships. So, like I said, if you join this webinar, that means you've demonstrated an interest to actually learn. So what I would suggest is that just comment your email address into the comment section, and I'll take a look at it to actually give the scholarships out here. So if you are here and you've not yet received your scholarships, just comment your email into the comment section. So if you are here and you've not yet received your scholarship, just comment your email into the comment section, and I'll take a look at it. Right. Okay. So I've seen another question from Selu, a person called Selu. The person, he or she is saying that as somebody who is interested in data science, sorry, I see the person is saying that as someone who is interested in data science, do I need web development knowledge? Because how would I put my stuff independently on the internet? Yeah, I can see some bits of panic in that statement, but I'm telling you that don't worry, it's very, very simple. So having a portfolio is very, very simple. Let's say you're a data scientist and you've built a model. One of the places you can deploy your models is Streamlit. Yeah. How you do this, how you approach this is that after building your model, you'll create something we call a small app interface here, where you connect some APIs with your models, and that's just you can actually project your portfolios online. So you don't actually need to master or go and learn software development for you to actually put your projects independently on the web. You can actually do it from the comforts of your workbook, of your data science workbook or notebook. Just some small bits of coding and some small third-party tools, then you can actually post your projects online. And like I said, you don't even need to actually even post your projects online for recruiters to see. You can simply just document your projects in GitHub. So if you are here, one of the things I would recommend is that get a GitHub account. Yes, right. I recommended LinkedIn and Twitter, yeah, for hyping yourself up. But get a GitHub account as well. With a GitHub account, every time you build a project, add it to your GitHub account, build a repository for that project and put that project into that repository and just list it and just make it public. And anybody who scrolls to your GitHub account can actually see that project and actually go through that project. So you don't need to learn software development to actually, as a data scientist, do just some small skills and some small third-party tools needed, and you can actually get a job done here. So if you are listening to me and you want to also build, if you are listening to me here, what I'll suggest that get a GitHub account right now, and every project that you build, everything that you do, put it into the GitHub account, build a repository for it, and put it into the repository, and you get it saved for life, and you can show it to any recruiter that you come across. So someone is also saying that Emmanuel is also saying that as a biological scientist, which one is better to focus on, data science or data analysis? Emmanuel, as we said earlier, if it's your first time and you are trying to become a data professional, try data analysis because it has the immediate market demand. Like I said, as a biological scientist, your role will demand knowledge of some Excel and some R. So just learn it. So just go to Datacamp and maybe pick the R track. So just focus on these two tools. Yeah. And what I will say is that choose data analysis. If you are starting as a data professional, go with data analysis. Data science is reserved for those who know a bit about data analysis. If you don't know anything about data analysis, don't venture into data science. No. You are simply digging your own hole. Just try and learn data analysis first. You don't know. You might even like data analysis more than data science. So if you are here listening to me, and this is your first time, you are trying to build a career for yourself in data, learn data analysis first. Learn data analysis first. Yeah, I think that's clear. Somebody gave a very wonderful question that I like, that most data career professionals currently fear. The person says that with the advent of AI, what is the future of junior data analysts since AI can clean, transform, and give meaningful insights within minutes? Exactly. AI is a very, very powerful tool. And even if you're a data professional, you should be more happy because as a data professional, you are the person who built that AI. Yeah. Like I said, as a data professional, you are the person who built that AI. I like the question very much because the person said, with the advent of AI, what is the role of junior data analyst since AI can clean? The person said what? AI can clean, transform the data, and give meaningful insight within minutes. Very, very true. AI can clean, transform, and give meaningful insight very, very within minutes. But who will be the person controlling that AI or using that AI? Do you expect the CEO to actually be inputting everything himself? Mostly that never happens. Unless maybe in small companies, that's small and mid-sized business. But even with that, that never happens, like I said. The AI fear is in a lot of people. So because of that, they are shying away from learning these skills. That should not be the case. So you should know that AI is a tool. That's about to help human beings. Don't let it replace you. Like I said, don't let it replace you. Don't let it replace you. AI can replace you, but don't let it replace you. Why can't AI replace you? Let me give you an example from the presentation we had. Let's say you're a data analyst, right? And you had foresight to actually tell a startup that, okay, I've developed a cash flow dashboard and I've added AI recommendations, sir. And I'm selling it for just $5, sir. I'm telling you, just that simple digital product, you can actually sell and make like thousands of dollars. Remember the story of my friend who made $300 just selling $300 a day, just selling personal finance budget dashboard then. So don't be scared about AI. It's true that AI can clean and transform this data. But that same AI does not work alone. It works under the data analysis. That AI also needs to be prompted that do this and do that. I'm a person who actually uses AI though in most of my analysis work. And what do I think about AI? I say yeah, AI is a very good tool. But as my advice to a person who is actually trying to become a data professional, don't feel scared about AI. Utilize it and build on it. Like I said, use AI as your jetpack. Use AI as your jetpack to actually solve more bigger problems. Don't be intimidated by AI, but actually use it to actually solve bigger problems. Even though AI would actually result in maybe with a less demand of data analysis tools, as more maybe tasks which used to demand like 5 people now be demanding maybe only 2 people. You shouldn't be scared. AI at the same time is also creating more jobs. Like I said, the AI engineer is the one who builds that AI. And as a data professional, you can become an AI engineer. You just need to study data analysis. After some time, move into data engineering and become an AI engineer. So don't feel scared. Start small. Build on it. Use AI as your jetpack right now. And I'm telling you, you would have a fantastic data profession. Don't feel scared at all. Use AI as your jetpack. It won't replace you. Use AI as your jetpack. It will never replace you. So I just found another question. Please recommended Excel and R for biological science. I've started taking lessons in Python. Should I stop? I would say do not stop Excel, but actually try and pivot to R, because as a biological scientist, for instance, you should try and make good use of, try and take advantage of your domain. So try and pivot to R. So I won't say stop though. You might think Python in the future, but try and learn R. And they all go together. Having some knowledge of R helps in Python, and having some knowledge of Python also helps in R. So what our advice is that try and learn R. Try and pivot to R. But for the Python, you can continue learning it later, because R has more opportunities for you as a biological scientist in the data ecosystem. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be answering 3 more questions and I'll close this webinar here. But like I said, if you are watching this webinar, try and comment your email. And if you are watching this webinar, if you know yet received your scholarship, try and comment. If you are watching this webinar, if you know yet received your Datacamp scholarship, just comment your email. Just write your email into the comment section, and we'll take a look at it and give you a preference, right? Like I said, so if you are watching this webinar now, try and comment your email. I've been going through the questions, but I've not seen anybody's email. And people are still complaining about Datacamp scholarship. So try and comment your email into the comment section, and we'll take a look at it. So the 3 final questions, then we go. So okay, so I think there is a question from Oga Princess that I would like to answer. So Oga Princess is saying that as an accounting student and a beginner in data analysis, where should I start from? Like I said, there are four pillar tools. Try and get your hands on SQL. Sorry, try and get your hands on Excel or Google Sheet. But I would recommend Excel as an accounting student. Yes, right. So try and get your hands on Excel. Then from there, try and learn some bit of SQL and Power BI. As an accountant, you would most likely be working in the finance sector, and in those sectors, Power BI is more prevalent. Power BI, SQL, and Excel is much more prevalent. So try and learn these tools. Take some internships, and from there, you can actually try and bridge over to Python and other stuff here. So someone is saying, for someone who wants to start the journey of becoming a fully equipped data scientist, what are the essential things what are the essential things I should focus? First, focus on becoming a data analyst, like we said earlier. If you want to become a data scientist, you have to learn data analysis first. You cannot skip it. So you have to first of all, focus on data analysis. And since you want to become a data scientist, I would recommend maybe since you want to become a data scientist, maybe you wouldn't need to spend much time on maybe Excel, but at least have a fair knowledge of Excel. Then dive more into Python since you'll be using Python more. Then try also learn SQL since as a data scientist you need to actually be pulling data from the database. So try and learn SQL. It's very, very helpful as well. So try and get these tools. Try and get these three tools as a data scientist. Your Excel, your SQL, and your Python. Very, very important. But like I said, you can't skip data analysis. Try and learn it first. Okay. So I'll combine the last three questions and answer them as my final question here. I'll be combining the last three questions and combine them as my final questions. So I think the question says, if possible, am I allowed to do more than one course in the career track? Yes, you're allowed to do more than one course in the career track. Is Datacamp an app? Datacamp has a mobile app and a web platform. I'll recommend that if you have a laptop, try and learn from the laptop more. So you try and use the web version more. But if you also have your mobile app, try and learn from the mobile app as well. And it's very let's see if you are, and the mobile app is very, very good for maybe for not losing your streak. If you are learning, sometimes there is a need for continuous motion. And for that continuous motion, you need the mobile app by your side so that you don't miss a lesson day, so that you don't even miss a lesson day. So it's very, very important for you to actually get your mobile app in your web platform. So these are Canvas, a mobile app and a web platform. Try and get all those two installed, and it will help you. So the final question I'll answer is, during the course, will Datacamp guide us in installing the softwares, or we need to get all the installations? Can you recommend where we can get most of this software for free? You can simply just search it on the web. That's why we have the Digital Leadership Network. I'll make the open forum so that you can actually discuss more of these questions here. But what I will say is that if you need any app, try and search it online. You can easily get it here. Like I would like to see. The reason why we've clicked with, and that's the main reason why sorry for not answering. What I would like to say is that sorry for not answering all your questions. That's the main reason why we've created the Data Leadership Network again. So the Data Leadership Network is the Data Leadership Network, right? It's something that we've created to actually help us all. So I would like to say that thank you all for joining in, and sorry for not answering all of your questions. If you have any more questions or any more suggestions, you can actually you can actually just text into the Data Leadership Network, and that's the reason why we created that group. So we created the Data Leadership Network so that we can actually help ourselves, uplift ourselves as data professionals, and also guide ourselves. Yeah, we even have trainees as data professionals. And that's the main purpose of the Data Leadership Network. Just uplifting each other. So what I recommend is that if you have any question, as at now, try and reserve that question. We will create the open forums for the Data Leadership Network soon, and you can actually ask those questions there. And that's the main reason why we've created the Data Leadership Network. So it's a place for you guys to actually learn and just help ourselves. So currently, this is our maiden community event, our first community event, and we'll try and be hosting more of these sessions. Yeah, we'll try and be hosting them at maybe monthly, even if we don't do our best for at least maybe monthly. So I'd like to again thank you all for actually joining this webinar, and I hope this was an interactive session for us all.